Have you ever looked around and wondered what really separates those people who seem to kind of get ahead from, well, everyone else?
Hmm.
Not, huge leaps, but that little edge.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into exactly that. We've got some really fascinating material here. It's a video transcript, and it promises to uncover these key ways to get ahead.
And it's all built around this really powerful idea.
Exactly. Being just 1% better. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack all these insights, really get to the core wisdom.
And see how these like tiny consistent actions can actually lead to pretty big shifts in your life.
Totally. It sounds almost too simple, right? 1% better.
Well, it's a compelling idea.
Huh.
And the material, it points out something fundamental about, human nature.
Yeah.
That most people, they lean towards comfort,
Right.
towards entertainment. They instinctively kind of shy away from the hard stuff.
Okay, so that natural tendency.
Yeah, that tendency creates an opening. Because if most people choose ease, then even tiny improvements, that 1% better we're talking about, they start to stack up
Right, they compound.
day by day. And it creates this surprising advantage that just keeps growing.
That distinction right there, wow, that's huge.
Yep.
Really sets the stage. Okay, so let's unpack this 1% idea more. The source says it starts with a mindset shift, like asking yourself
How could I be 1% better right now?
right now. Okay, so what's the first, practical thing it suggests?
It leads straight to a really foundational point. Do things people don't want to do.
Okay, like what kind of thing? We talking big, heroic efforts?
No, not at all. The examples are almost like laughably simple. Mundane, really.
Not just,
Doing the dishes right away instead of, letting them pile up.
okay, feel seen.
Or waking up just 5 minutes earlier than you normally would. Or maybe taking a short walk when you'd really rather just stay on the couch.
So tiny things.
Tiny things.
Yeah.
But the key insight isn't the task itself. It's about building discipline, that internal muscle.
Oh, okay. So these little undesirable actions.
They build that muscle day after day. And that discipline, that cultivated strength, it translates. It helps you make progress in the much bigger, more complex parts of your life.
It's that constant sort of gentle push against just being comfortable.
Exactly.
I like that, building a mental muscle, not just, doing chores. Okay, so from discipline, the material then looks at our physical and mental state, our well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. But the second point is pretty direct. Workout.
Right, exercise, obvious health benefits there, but
But it goes beyond just general health.
Mm.
The source really highlights how even that 1% improvement in your physical energy.
like adding 5 minutes to a walk, you said, or one more rep.
Yeah, exactly. How that can seriously boost your mental clarity, your energy through the day, even how confident you appear. It argues it's not just about, getting ripped or something. It's the whole package. It makes you more, well, attractive in a broader sense. Allows you to stand out.
Because most people just don't do it consistently.
Precisely. Most people don't exercise regularly, so doing it, even a little bit consistently, gives you that immediate advantage, the energy, the posture, the clarity.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Energy and confidence, you can feel that off people. Okay, so tied into this whole self-improvement thing, what about how we spend our time? Our attention?
The advice here is to prioritize education over entertainment.
Ooh, okay. Does that mean no more Netflix?
No, not necessarily zero entertainment. It's more about a conscious shift, like tweaking the
How
balance.
so?
Think about maybe swapping just a small slice of your nightly streaming time, say 10, 15 minutes,
Okay.
and using that time to read a book instead, or learn something new online, or just engage with something that actually grows your knowledge base.
So it's about choosing growth, even in small doses, over just passively consuming stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A subtle but really powerful daily choice.
And complementing that growth, you mentioned mental well-being earlier. The material really emphasizes mental health, right? Which, let's be honest, a lot of people kind of avoid talking about.
They really do.
Mm.
And the source makes a very strong case here. Get therapy.
Wow, okay. That's pretty direct.
It is. It frames therapy as, and this is a quote, your key to becoming a more well-rounded, better human.
A key.
Yeah. The insight is that most people, the vast majority, don't actively deal with their stuff, their personal issues. Or sometimes they don't even recognize the patterns that are holding them back. The material is pretty blunt, actually. It says something like, every type of person has something going on in their brain that they need help with.
That's quite a statement, but probably true for many.
Probably. So therapy, Even just one session to explore something that keeps nagging at you is presented as that 1% commitment.
A commitment to your own well-being.
And your personal development. It helps you show up better, more authentically, more effectively in, every part of your life.
These points on like the internal stuff, discipline, well-being, they're really powerful. But getting ahead isn't just internal, right? It's also how we show up in the world, how we interact.
Absolutely. And that's where the source goes next, moving towards how we project ourselves.
Okay.
The advice is to develop your own sense of style.
Style. So clothes, fashion.
Well, yes, but it's broader than that. It's not just fashion. It's about really understanding who you are deep down.
Okay.
And actively resisting that urge we all sometimes feel to just copy someone else's vibe, or their actions or what they like.
Right. Trying to be someone you're not.
Exactly. And the source argues that people who are, quote, unapologetically and authentically themselves, they have this aura or radiance.
Interesting. An aura.
Yeah. And the 1% idea here is about that small daily commitment to self-awareness, to asking yourself, is this really me?
Instead of just chasing trends.
Right. And that authenticity, that genuine self-expression is apparently very appealing. It helps you stand out naturally.
Okay, being authentic. And tied into that, how we connect with others. What's the next thing to work on?
Yeah, following right on from style and authenticity, the advice is to develop charisma, a sense of humor, and confidence.
Okay, the big three. Charisma, humor, confidence.
And the material is, again, pretty blunt. It basically says, look, most people aren't that charismatic.
Yeah.
They aren't naturally hilarious or super confident.
So there's an opportunity there.
A huge one. The idea is that being just 1% better in these social skills.
Like what's a 1% improvement in charisma?
Maybe it's practicing active listening for just 1 extra minute in a conversation, really focusing.
Okay.
Or finding one small, genuine way to make someone smile or feel acknowledged. Small things.
That they add up.
They add up. And the source emphasizes, even if you don't think you're the smartest person in the room or, conventionally good looking, these cultivated social skills, charisma, humor, confidence, they can make a massive difference in how people see you and the opportunities that come your way.
Those subtle interpersonal edges again. Okay, and speaking of how we interact with the world or maybe what influences us, the source has some pretty strong words about our digital lives.
Oh, yeah. It leads right into thinking about the environment that shapes our minds. And the advice is stark. Stop polluting your mind with social media.
Polluting. Strong word.
It is. The source suggests that everything we consume online, scrolling through feeds, it acts like subliminal input. It's feeding our subconscious without us always realizing it.
Wow. Okay, so what's the 1% fix there? Delete all apps.
Well, maybe not immediately for everyone, but the 1% could be super simple, like just putting your phone away for the first 5 minutes when you wake up. Don't grab it immediately.
Okay, doable.
Or setting a timer for, say, a 15-minute block sometime during the day where screens are just off, no checking.
A mini digital detox.
Exactly. And the source argues that taking breaks, even suggesting a longer one, like 6 months off social media.
6 months. Wow.
Yeah, it suggests they can lead to like fundamentally different mental development. And that other people actually perceive it as refreshing when someone isn't constantly glued to their phone or social media trends.
Interesting. It's about consciously protecting your mental space.
Reclaiming it, yeah.
That's definitely a challenge in today's world, but I can see the appeal, that mental clarity. And staying on the theme of environment, the next point is about the people around us.
Absolutely crucial. The advice is to surround yourself with people you want to be like. Or, people who are genuinely like-minded in terms of ambition and growth.
The old, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with idea.
Pretty much. The warning in the material is really clear. If your circle is mostly negative or people who aren't really striving for much,
you'll likely become like them.
Yeah, you risk absorbing that energy, that mindset. It gives an example of, say, entrepreneurs hanging out together. Their shared drive, their long hours. It becomes normal. They motivate each other. It's understood.
Versus friends who maybe don't get it.
Right. Friends who might unintentionally drag you down simply because they can't relate to your goals or your efforts. They might see it as weird or unnecessary.
So the 1% here is about consciously choosing your company.
Yeah, making a deliberate effort, even a small one. Maybe reach out to one inspiring person this week. Have one conversation that lifts you up instead of drains you.
Seek out the uplifters. Makes perfect sense. Our environment really is contagious. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about action, taking risks, learning, areas where, again, people often hesitate.
Yeah, absolutely. The next point is kind of twofold. Collect data and try as many new things as possible.
Collect data, like spreadsheets on people.
Uh-huh. No, not like that. Collecting data on people, as a source puts it, means intentionally meeting lots of different individuals, building a diverse network.
Okay, networking. But why data?
Because it's about more than just contacts. It's about understanding people, learning human patterns, how to navigate different social situations, how to read cues better. You're gathering insights, not just names.
Ah, I see. Learning from interaction.
Exactly. And this point also includes the advice to do something that scares you every week.
Every week. Something scary.
It doesn't have to be bungee jumping. The
Mhm.
1% approach here could be having one conversation you'd normally shy away from,
Okay.
or trying one tiny new activity you've been curious about but felt intimidated by, maybe just for 5 or 10 minutes. Dip your toe in.
Just push that comfort zone boundary a tiny bit.
Precisely. Collect experiential data, too.
Okay, that makes sense. And that idea of doing scary things, it leads right into a huge barrier for so many people, right?
Definitely. The next piece of advice is absolutely critical. Conquer your fear of failure.
The big one.
The big one. The source suggests that a major reason people don't achieve much is simply because they're terrified of looking stupid or being judged.
Yeah, that fear is powerful.
It really is. And it challenges that passive hope that one day success will just magically arrive. It implies that you have to put yourself in positions where you might fail. It's necessary.
So how does the 1% idea apply here? Beyond just, getting used to failing.
It's about embracing micro failures. That's the key.
Micro failure.
It's not about aiming for huge flameouts. It's that 1% increase in your willingness to be vulnerable.
Like what?
Maybe trying a slightly different approach in a low-stakes meeting. Asking a question that feels a bit bold. Experimenting with a skill where you know you're not an expert yet.
Okay, small risks.
Small risks, small potential failures.
Yeah.
Each little instance where things don't go perfectly, it gives you information, it builds resilience. And, crucially, it chips away at that ego that's so afraid of looking bad.
So the advice is literally fail more often.
Fail more often and do things that will humble you. These are those small, intentional steps. They make you more adaptable, less afraid over time, more courageous, actually.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. Micro failures as data points, as stepping stones.
Okay.
And tied right into overcoming that fear of failure is the next point, I imagine.
Absolutely connected. It's the idea to make your own luck.
Make your own luck. So luck isn't just random.
Well, the source argues against just passively waiting for good things to fall into your lap. It's about actively creating the conditions for good things to happen.
Okay, how?
A big barrier here, again, is ego, that fear of failing, of putting yourself out there because you can't handle the potential hit to your self-image if it doesn't work out.
Right, the fear of rejection or looking silly.
Exactly. So the material basically says you need to dissolve that ego or at least manage it so you can actively go after opportunities without being paralyzed by, what if I fail?
And the 1% action here?
It could be sending just one more email than you plan to,
Mhm.
making one extra connection attempt, researching one opportunity that seems like a bit of a long shot.
Tiny actions that increase the surface area for luck to strike.
Exactly. You're creating tiny ripples, more lines in the water, so to speak. And those accumulate, creating advantages.
Okay, that makes sense. Actively creating possibilities. All right, let's bring it back to the everyday stuff. The practical habits that kind of form the foundation for all this.
Now, the daily grind stuff. The next suggestion is simple but powerful. Get up early.
Ah, the early bird.
The early bird. The source notes that people who get up early tend to just get more done. They're more alert earlier, and apparently they are statistically healthier.
Healthier too. Interesting.
Yeah, and being healthier, being well rested, it translates directly to having more energy. More energy means you can achieve more during the day, which, again, puts you ahead.
And the 1% application is obvious here, I guess.
Super simple. Just set your alarm 5 minutes earlier tomorrow than you did today.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. That tiny shift, if you stick with it, maybe add another 5 later. It compounds. It can free up a surprising amount of quiet, focused time before the chaos of the day kicks in.
Time for that focused work or personal development. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, and for anyone, myself included sometimes, who struggles with actually doing the things, the next point is key.
Oh, definitely. Something we all grapple with. Curb procrastination.
The eternal battle.
It is. And the source acknowledges it's normal. But building that discipline we talked about earlier is the way through it.
So how does the 1% concept help here? Because procrastination feels like this huge wall
It
sometimes.
feels huge, but you chip away at it.
Yeah.
The 1% idea is perfect here. Instead of staring at some massive, overwhelming task and doing nothing,
Yeah.
just commit to working on it for 5 minutes, just 5. Set a timer.
The 5-minute rule.
Or use the 2-minute rule.
Uh,
If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it right now. Don't even put it on a list.
like answering a quick email or putting that dish in the dishwasher.
Exactly. These tiny, consistent actions break the inertia. They build momentum. They prove to your brain, hey, I can take action, even if it's just a really small action to start.
That is a really practical tip. Chip away at it. Okay, finally, the source goes into something a bit deeper, right? A level of self-awareness that kind of underpins everything else.
Yeah, the last specific piece of advice it highlights is crucial. Develop emotional intelligence.
EQ. Everyone talks about it, but what does it mean in this context?
Well, the source states, maybe unsurprisingly, that it's a quality many people lack. They react more than they respond. They don't always read situations or people accurately.
Okay, so how do you 1% your way to better EQ?
It's subtle. Maybe it's pausing for just 5 seconds before you react emotionally in an intense conversation. Just taking that breath.
Okay, creating space.
Or actively listening, truly listening without interrupting, for just 1 extra minute longer than you normally would.
Mm-hmm.
The source suggests, going back to that collecting data idea, that meeting more people is part of it. But the critical piece is reflecting on those interactions afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
analyzing them.
Thinking about what happened, why people reacted that way, how you felt.
Exactly. That process of intentional observation and reflection helps you build up a better framework of how humans are, as the source puts it. Or even, it says, it helps you categorize people, not in a bad way, but understanding patterns.
So it's like data collection on human behavior to improve your intuition.
Essentially, yeah, building a deeper, more nuanced understanding of people and yourself.
Wow. Okay, so we started this whole thing with that super simple but kind of profound idea. 1% better.
Mm-hmm.
And the material brings it all back to that at the end, right? With an analogy.
Yeah, really clear one. Like doing 12 reps in your workout today,
Okay.
then tomorrow you aim for 13, just one more, and the day after maybe 14.
It's literally that simple, the source says.
Exactly. And
Okay.
by the end of the week, maybe you're consistently doing 14 or 15. You've set a completely new standard for yourself.
That tiny gain just becomes the new
It
baseline.
becomes the new normal. And this whole continuous step-by-step process is summed up really well by a quote, the material highlights.
What's the quote?
It says, the 1%, running multiple experiments and tests, they never stop moving.
Yeah.
The 99 and don't like uncertainty. Truth, they never do anything, therefore they never grow.
Wow. That kind of nails it, doesn't it?
It really does. It encapsulates that core idea.
Yeah.
Constant small-scale action, trying things out, experimenting, even when you're not sure of the outcome. That's the path.
While resisting uncertainty, staying put, that leads to stagnation.
That's the message.
So, wrapping this all up, what does this really mean for you listening right now on your own path? This deep dive into these, 15 ways or however many points there were.
It boils down to something quite encouraging, I think.
Yeah.
That sustained success, getting ahead, it's not really about these huge, dramatic, overnight transformations. It's not waiting for the perfect moment or some grand plan.
It's simpler than that.
It seems so. It's about that consistent, almost quiet commitment, just being a little bit better every single day, especially in those areas most people tend to ignore or actively avoid.
Yeah, the uncomfortable stuff.
The cumulative effect of all those small choices we talked about, the discipline, the well-being, the authentic expression, choosing your influences, taking small actions despite fear.
That's what makes the difference over time.
That's what truly sets people apart. It really highlights that sometimes the biggest wins come from tackling the simplest changes, the ones that seem too small to matter, but are the ones most resisted.
It's that quiet edge, that 1% advantage that eventually creates this huge gap.
It seems to be the core idea.
So, as you go about your day today, maybe think about this. What's one 1% better action, no matter how small it seems, that you could take right now?
Or maybe thinking about that fear of failure we discussed. What's one area, just one, where the thought of maybe looking silly or being judged might be holding you back?
Holding you back from taking that first, maybe slightly uncomfortable but crucial step. Something to think about.